All right, who's up for another redraft? Hands up. Okay, if you don't have your hand up, why are you here? So here we are. I'm going to do the 2016 draft. I'm not going to do what I did with the last one, the 2012 draft. There were a lot of picks that, if we could go back, probably wouldn't be in the first round. So this one is a little bit different, and this one is recent. So there are still picks that I'm going to probably put later that years from now, we look back, I probably would have higher. 2016 is about as recent as I'm probably going to want to go. I'll look at 2017. I know people want me to have Pedersen number one in 2017 because that's what they want to see. But 2016 is pretty recent, and there's still players on this list who haven't made it yet who may. And there are players on this list who've proven themselves to be every bit as good as they were purported to be before the draft took place. So at number one, is there any doubt it's Austin Matthews? Like, that's an honest question. Is there any doubt in anybody's mind that if you redid this draft right now, you don't still have Matthews going first? He was pretty much undisputed as the number one pick, although Patrick Laine cut some really bizarre interviews before the draft where he kind of tried to make the argument that he was the weirdest guy in the draft, or no, still the best guy in the draft. And there's nothing wrong with being confident. And in all honesty, when I look at this draft, Laine still probably goes number two. Tkachuk's pretty good. Keller's pretty good. Sergachev pretty good. These are all good players. McAvoy, obviously, in Boston's excellent. But when you look at it, I don't see any reason that 1 and 2 change. So this is one of those drafts where 1 and 2, I think they got him right. So the Jets would still be grabbing Laine at number 2. And that's where it changes. Or does it? So Pierre-Luc Dubois, when he's drafted ahead of Puljujarvi, and there's a live stream that I did on the channel when that draft took place, where I was flabbergasted that Puljujarvi dropped to the Oilers. They had McDavid, now they were getting Puljujarvi, and it felt like the Oilers were getting this huge gift. Not so much. But Dubois turned out to be a pretty good center. Now, one of the things when I'm doing a redraft is I still look at that as being important. GMs will always find it more important to have that center, that top six center, than a top six winger. That's generally how this works. So when you look at some of the misses in the draft, sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's that a GM gets caught up looking for a center, and they end up drafting one when they probably should have picked a winger. Dubois versus Tkachuk, Sergachev, Keller. I'm looking through the rest here. McAvoy. I love McAvoy. I do. And then in the last 10, there's nobody really there that jumps out at me. So, if you're redoing this draft now, I'll say Columbus stays where they are. Yeah. Pierre-Luc Dubois probably still goes third. This was a very well planned out draft for the first three. But it's at 4 that I think we start to see a change. Because I don't think the Oilers still draft Puljujarvi at 4, right? Now, we can have that debate about whether or not Puljujarvi's going to go on to be a star somewhere else. But for this video, what's important is what he's done till now. What he's done till now is not what was expected of him when he was drafted. Now, you're not going to pick Juolevi. Juolevi's going to drop in this one. It's between Tkachuk, Keller. You can make the argument for Chychrun, McAvoy. There's arguments you can make for these guys. But honestly, and I know if you're an Oilers fan, maybe look the other way. And just imagine for the rest of the National Hockey League if Matthew Tkachuk was on the Oilers and you had Tkachuk and Kassian together. Do they still fight with each other? Would that still be a feud then? Would they be line mates fighting with each other? Who knows? So, yeah, Matthew Tkachuk, I still have going highly. In fact, he bumps up to 4th, which at the time I thought he was going to go 5th. I was like, all right, the Canucks are going to get Juolevi because Dubois, once Dubois went, I thought, all right, the Canucks are going to get Tkachuk. This is going to be great. And then they drafted Juolevi, and that's where my meltdown happened. So up next is the Canucks. And of the players on the board, you know what? I really... Oh, Sergachev, though. right? So the Canucks at 5. I'll take McAvoy at 5. McAvoy does a little bit of everything. He's got tremendous upside. He's a minute-munching defenseman. My God, if the Canucks had McAvoy and Quinn Hughes. Oh, all right, but it didn't happen, so we can just wake ourselves up later about this one. So now we're down to Calgary. We're down to number 6. And Clayton Keller, I am not underrating Clayton Keller. I know there's Duets fans that may think that I am. Sergachev at 6. Yeah, I'll go with Clayton Keller. I think Keller's numbers would be higher if he wasn't playing for the Coyotes, to be honest. And I think he's I don't know how much of a star he's going to be, but I think he's going to be a star player for the Coyotes for quite a while. So I'll put Keller at that level. And then next one off the board, I don't see how it's not Sergachev. Sergachev has taken that next step with the Tampa Bay Lightning this year. And that trade of Drouin for Sergachev just... I mean, Jonathan Drouin is a good player, but Sergachev is just fantastic. So that trade doesn't necessarily age well. So now we're into the, well, kind of category where it's, does Brett Howden take a major jump? Sam Steele's not going 30th. I knew when he was drafted at 30th he was a steal there. I didn't mean to... Yeah, sorry about that. Just, if I had a memory wipe device from Men in Black, I'd use it right here to make people forget I had steal and steal in the same sentence. Jost Nylander doesn't go here. Ulevy doesn't go here either. I still think Ulevy's got upside, but he hasn't played yet in the NHL, so it would be very much a Vancouver homer move to have him here. I still like Bellows' upside. Borgstrom, I think there's still some upside there that not being in the spotlight's going to help him with. But I'm going to go with another draft pick of Arizona's here. Now, when Jacob Chychrun signed the extension that he did with Arizona, I thought that was kind of rich. And when you look at it now, maybe not so much. Chychrun has been fantastic for the Arizona Coyotes. And yeah, he moves up to 8th in this draft. According to my redraft, he goes at 8th. Because, yeah, Chychrun's been a very, very solid player. Next up, I think you have to go with another defenseman. Again, Puljujarvi is now in free fall. I don't think Nylander goes here. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in this. No. I think we'll go with Dante Fabro. Dante Fabro to the Montreal Canadiens. And boy, wouldn't they love to have a Dante Fabro on their blue line right now. Well, once they're back to playing hockey, right? Right now they're not playing hockey. So yeah, Fabro jumps into the top 10. So a bit of a run on defensemen with Sergachev, Chychrun, and Fabro. Technically, you got McAvoy up here. So McAvoy, Sergachev, Chychrun, Fabro. Very strong draft for defensemen. Which means that we're down to where Jost got drafted. Puljujarvi. I know there's Puljujarvi fans out there saying, come on, you've got to draft Puljujarvi here. I don't know that I do, though. I kind of like Brett Howden's upside. Another draft pick that's already been moved since he was drafted in 2016. And Brett Howden. I can't pick Nylander here. But, you know what? I'll go with Luke Kunin. I like his upside in Minnesota as well. So I'll go with Luke Kunin. These are close. These ones are close. Again, we're so close to this draft. It's only, almost 4 years ago. There's still players that are going to develop. Logan Brown could very well end up being a keeper for the Ottawa Senators. But to this point, you know what? I'm really on the fence with Puljujarvi because I understand he didn't have a great year with Edmonton last year, and he's been holding out. He had a decent year in Europe, and he could still turn out to be a pretty good top 6 forward in the National Hockey League. So yeah, Nylander's dropped. Obviously, Jost has dropped as well. Borgstrom's out there. Steele's out there. I do like Howden. It's so recent. This draft is so recent. Bellows, no. Obviously not Riley Tufte. Yeah, I'll go with Brett Howden. He's shown that he can take a regular shift, and there's still upside there. And I like Howden's game. He's been an excellent. He's been kind of a steal for the Rangers when you consider that deal altogether. So yeah, I'll have Howden go at 11. Now we're down to 12. Jost was showing some signs going into this of some upside. I still like Jost's upside. I know Jake Bean still hasn't come up yet. I know Chalowski, he was being kind of protected in the minors from the disastrous season going on in Detroit. But yeah, there's still too much potential. There's still too much with Puljujarvi for me to drop him down past 12. And I know people are going to skip to the end and say, well, you can't take Puljujarvi ahead of, but just that amount of sheer potential. Puljujarvi, I can't drop him past 12. I really can't. And I say that as a fan of Sam Steele, as a person that likes Borgstrom, Chalowski as well. So now we're down to 12, or 13, I should say. I'll go with Tyson Jost. I still think the top 6 potential is there for Jost. So Nylander's dropping. Yeah, Levy's in free fall at this stage. I kind of like the idea of going with Logan Brown here. And again, there are players who haven't come up and proven themselves yet. So if I go back and do this in a few years, that could be a completely different list. I'll go with Borgstrom. I know. And to Boston, of all places. I like Borgstrom. The potential is there. I still think Sam Steele is going to be a top 6 forward. And I think the scoring is there. I know his stats weren't overwhelming this year, but I'm going to put him there. I know Nylander had some mixed results in Chicago this year. I know the comments on this video are going to be just crazy because that's how it's going to work. I like Chalowski here. See, and it's so much different when I force myself to use the guys that were actually drafted in the first round. So I can't use anybody who's drafted after the first round. I think that kind of makes it more of a challenge to just say, okay, these are your 30 guys. Because otherwise you can just go into Hockey Database, most games played, most points, and go, yeah, that's pretty much it. You can. I'm not saying you should, but you can. Nylander, Bean, Logan Brown, Ole Levy. I'll go with Logan Brown. Logan Stanley probably doesn't go here. Stanley still hasn't come up and played. May end up being a project for a while. So I don't think you take him here. Johansson isn't going to come up because he hasn't played yet. He's had injury problems. Max Jones, no. I'm even a Max Jones fan, and I'm saying no at this point. Yeah, I'll say Alex Nylander can't fall further than Winnipeg on this one. The Nylander goes then. I'm kind of leaning towards Bellows still going to the Islanders at 19. Although Jake Bean could very well still be a top 4 at some point for Carolina. Carolina has an underrated blue line. They do. Does Max Jones go here? I don't think Gauthier goes that early. He might. I know there's Canuck fans mad because Levy's dropped this far, but can only go by what's happened thus far in their careers, and Levy has had trouble staying healthy. Much the same as Lucas Johansson down here. I've been impressed with Frederick and Collips, but I don't think he has that much top 6 upside for Boston. Rubtsov, Jones. Yeah, I'll say Max Jones. So basically what I'm saying here is that the Anaheim Ducks drafted very well, which, coming out of that draft, I thought they drafted very well anyways. Bellows, there is some goal-scoring upside there. Jake Bean, you know what? I'll say Jake Bean goes to Detroit. I know there's going to be some people saying, wait, Jake Bean, what? But I'll do that based on I still think he's going to get there. I'll have Kiefer Bellows go to the Carolina pick. As the Carolina pick. So Bellows goes at 21. And then at 22... McLeod or Levy? Or does German Rubtsov just end up going to Philadelphia anyways? I'll say Levy still has that upside. So I'll have him go here. So Levy still has that upside. And then you're into... Yeah, I'll say Michael McLeod goes next. Logan Stanley still on the board. I think I've taken out the whole top 10. Yes, I have. I've taken out most of the next top 10 other than Stanley. So towards the end of the round, they got it pretty much right. Not a whole lot that got moved up there. History may show I took Gauthier too late. I can't have Stanley there. I'll have Rubtsov here. That'll make Philly fans happy, right? When he falls, that'll make them not at all. All right. When I do these, I'm well aware. Okay, here comes some unhappy, sad-faced people that aren't happy with me for where I put their prospects. People are very protective over prospects. I've noticed over the years, people get most protective of their goaltenders and their prospects. If you criticize a team's goaltender or their prospect, you got to have your gloves ready because there's a fight coming. And because everybody should be wearing gloves right now and masks. And stay 6 feet away from your monitor because, distancing. So we're down to... Does Tage still go here? You know what? I'll go with Trent Frederick. I liked him as a draft pick for the Bruins at the time, and he's been okay. I'll have Tage go here. I'll keep Johansson as going to Washington. So for Caps fans waiting to see who they get, I'm sorry, you still get the same guy. I'll have Logan Stanley go to the Bruins at 29. And then that leaves at 30 Riley Tufte, who was drafted by Dallas, ends up going 30th overall to the Anaheim Ducks, and instead Dallas gets Gerben Rubtsov. So, all right, 2016 is a bit of a crapshoot, and again, I'm not looking a whole bunch of stuff up and doing a whole bunch of science with this. It's just putting the names on the board and then going, all right, who would I pick? So let me know your picks in the comment section below. And again, this is a draft where it looks like they at least got the top 3 right. And everything after that. Pretty solid draft. Pretty solid top 10 overall. Cunnin still has potential to become a really solid top 6 forward. And I like Howden. And again, Puljujarvi, maybe a year in Europe does him well. Maybe we see him come back into the league next year and he's fantastic. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.